So one of these designs drove 5% more visitors to the shopping page than the other. Can you guess which one? Here's the thing, I couldn't, and we can't guess. That's why we test. If you're serious about optimizing your Framer site, not just making it pretty, but making it convert, this tutorial is about to become your secret weapon. In the next few minutes, you'll learn how to install the GrowthBook Framer plugin, run component level A/B tests, track what really boosts your business. You'll be able to get statistical confidence you can actually trust. And the best part, it works seamlessly with Framer's native features. So are you ready to level up? Let's go. First, let's be clear, Framer's built-in A/B testing is actually solid. You can already run URL redirect tests, track conversions, see results, and honestly, for many sites, that's perfect. But here's the thing. I'm using the fictional brand BarMan, bar soap for men, and say I want to test these value proposition cards. With Framer's native testing, I need to duplicate my entire page. But what if you could test these elements directly? What if you want visual component level testing? You want full access to your experiment data. You want to do multivariate testing. You want advanced statistical analysis. You want feature flags for gradual rollouts. Well, that's where GrowthBook comes in. It's enterprise level experimentation that plugs right into Framer. Let me show you how easy it is to set this up. So I have set up my GrowthBook site, and the first thing we want to do is make the connection between GrowthBook and Framer. So I'm going to come down here to the left hand side. I'm going to go to SDK connections, and I'm going to create a new SDK connection. I will call this Framer bar soap, and I'm going to choose React. It's not super important what you choose, but Framer does use React, so we'll do that. And then we have here all the other defaults that are fine, and I am going to click save. And now the important thing to see or get from this page, which we're going to need later in Framer, is this client key here. So you can copy it to your clipboard. We'll come back and get it, but this is what's going to allow Framer to know what your feature flags and experiments are. So speaking of, while we're here, let's set up the experiments we're going to run on our bar soap site. So if I come back over here to my BarMan bar soap site, I want to run two different experiments. So one, I want to test this shop now button, and I want to see if I change the text here to something else that perhaps I can drive more shopping. And then also, like we mentioned, I want to change one of these value proposition cards, maybe to try out a couple different variations. And so let's set both of these experiments up now in GrowthBook. So the way that this works in GrowthBook is we create a feature flag, and the feature flag is a vehicle kind of that allows you to run the different experiments. So let's go up to features, and I am going to add a feature. And so we're going to test that hero text, the hero's call to action. So I'm going to say hero CTA button. It is here in my first project, and that's just the default project that GrowthBook comes with. I'll show you how we can update that in a second. And then this is an important part. So the value type, when we're working with the Framer plugin, it always needs to be number. And what we want to do here is start with 0. So 0 is your control or your default. That's what you're going to test against. And then each of the variations, as we'll see, will be 1-digit increment. So I'm going to click create. This gives us a little bit of a how-to that we don't need because we're going to be using Framer. And now this feature flag is all set up. What we want to do now is add an experiment to it. So the way that we do that is we come down to rules. And so we have this ability here to add different rules to the experiment. So this, you could do all kinds of neat stuff like advanced targeting or experiments like we're going to do, or safe rollouts, all sorts of things. But we're going to click add rule. And what we want to do is an experiment. So we're going to create a new experiment and click next. And so I'm going to say hero CTA button experiment. And so you'd want to put in here your hypothesis. So this would be like something like changing the button text will increase visits to the shopping page. Something like that, something that's testable. And then here we have our values to 4. So you can see that we're going to send 100% of our traffic to this experiment, which you could change if you wanted to. And then we have 2 variations. So we have our control, which is 0, and we have variation 1, which is 1. And our population, our users are going to be split 50-50 towards those 2. And then we'll be able to test which one of them performs better. So we'll keep this all as the default and click next. This is if you wanted to add more advanced targeting. We don't need that right now. And then this part is something that you'll need to set up when you set up GrowthBook. I'll leave some links below about how to do this, but this is kind of the data source that you're going to use to save everything. But I'm going to click save here. And so now you see that we are in viewing a draft. I'm going to click review and publish. And now this experiment is live and running. While we're here now, let's do it again, get some practice. And before that, though, I said, let's change this project. So I'm going to come down to settings, projects, in my first project here. And let's edit this so that it is Framer bar soap. It just puts it up here that we are in the Framer bar soap project. Project is a way for you to organize if you have different sites, if you have different apps within GrowthBook, so that you have it's a little bit easier to navigate and manage things. All right, so let's go back to features and create the feature now. So remember, we're going to try to test this one of these cards here. So I'm going to add a feature, and this will be value prop card. And again, remember, we want this to be number and we want it to start at 0. So I'm going to click create. This is all set up here. And again, we want to add the experiment. So I'm going to click add rule, go to experiment, create a new experiment. And this will be value prop card experiment. And all of this is up to you how you want to do this. And we'll leave this blank, but the idea is putting another value prop card there could potentially drive more traffic to the shopping page or increase revenue or whatever kind of metric you're trying to move. And the one difference here, so we have 0, 1. I'm going to add another variation, and this will be 2. So I have 0, 1, 2. So this is testing 3 different cards, not just 2. And you, of course, could have more if you wanted, but we're just going to do 3. So I'll remove this, do next, keep all the defaults here, click save. Now I will review and publish this experiment. So GrowthBook now is pretty much totally set up. You do have to set up that data source, which, like I said, links below on that. But we are now ready to go into Framer and get things set up. This is where it gets exciting. I am here in my Framer app. We got our BarMan bar soap going. And what I need to do is set up the GrowthBook plugin. So I'm going to launch my command bar here, go to plugins, browse all, and then search for GrowthBook. So you see GrowthBook here. I'm going to click to launch. I've already launched this, but what you'll need to do the first time is put in that client key that we got from GrowthBook. So this is where we'll paste that in, and then you'll click save. And once you do, it will bring in all of those feature flags that we created. So I can drop down here and see those features. And what I will do is, let's start with the Hero CTA button. So I'm going to select that and then click add to canvas. And so you can see it adds this kind of frame to the page. This is the experiment container, and this is where we're going to connect the things that we want to test, the elements we want to test. And so the first one we wanted to do here was this Shop Now button. And what I need to do is create a component out of this. And then I am going to create a variant that says find your soap. So now we have variant 1 and variant 2, and we can come back here, and I'm going to actually drag this out of the canvas, and I'm going to select the GrowthBook element, and I can connect it to that element here, and set it as the control. So now you see this changes. This indicates that this is the experiment and we have one of two variations added. I'm going to duplicate this one and then change it to the second variant that we had and connect these up as a variant. And so now there's 2 of 2 here, and we have set this experiment up. It's ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and drop it onto the page. And so now we have shop now and learn more. And what happens is that when the experiment runs, depending on the user, it's going to connect that shop now or the find your soap. And so when we preview it too, you can say it's just the default shop now, and we'll check on the experiment live as it's going in a second. All right, the next part is to test these value prop cards down here. And so what I am going to do is come in here and take one of these and create a component, and I'll call this card. And here let's create a couple variants. So let's see, I'm going to come into this first one. I want to change this image, and I will pull up the old Unsplash. Let's search for fresh. Oh, I like these lemons here. And let's say so fresh, so clean. All right, so now we have our first variant and our second variant, and then let's do a change for the third one. And I will do here another Unsplash, and let's search for clean, see what comes up. Oh, I kind of like these bubbles here. Let's say bubbly fresh. All right, so now we have 3 variant cards, and we want to see if any of these move the needle at all. And so we'll come back here. Again, I'm going to drag this out for a second and do some duplicates here. Pull in our variations. And now we got to pull in that GrowthBook experiment again. So I'm going to bring up my plugins, GrowthBook, and now this is the value prop card. I'm going to add that to the canvas. Scroll back here a little bit. And then we need to connect our control. And then we need to connect our variants. All right, so when we click on this, you can see here in the sidebar over on the right-hand side that it shows you which elements are connected as your control and your variants. You can also connect things this way, and then which feature flag it is tied to in GrowthBook. And so now that that is all set up, we can bring this back into our page. I'm going to put it to the first one. But now both of those experiments are up and running. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this. And now let's open this link and take a look at what it looks like. All right, so we have our page here and everything looks right? So that's good, it's all set. But we want to know if the experiments are actually running. The easiest way to do that is with GrowthBook's DevTools. So this is a Chrome or Firefox extension you can download. I'll leave the link below, of course, but you can see up here that it's hanging out and it has the little dot next to it. And so when I click on that, what's great is it shows me the feature flags that are active on the page, as well as the experiments. It shows me the attributes and some other data. What we're really interested here is the experiments. So right now I have the hero CTA button. We can see that the control is showing, but I want to know what the variation will look like. So I can change it right there and it shows me what that variation is like, which is good. And then let's also do that for the value prop card. All right, so there's our beautiful lemons and then our little bubbles. So we can see that all of that is working as we would expect. And if I come in here, you can see the attributes that are being loaded for this experiment. And so here is the user ID that's being used. And this is changeable here, just like everything else. We can override it. So for instance, if this user was 333, that was their ID, they would have gotten both the Find Your Soap and this Bubbly Fresh down here. I can reset that. And what is important to see here is that no matter how many times I refresh, this user would always get the same variants. So they would always get the shop now and the long lasting. But what I could do here is if I open up an incognito window, which doesn't have that user ID, we can see that it's a little bit different, right? So we have a bubbly fresh and the shop now. So it demonstrates that a different user is going to get different versions of these. The one last thing that we want to confirm is happening is that the exposure event is being sent to Google, specifically Google Analytics. And what we can do is do an inspect, and let's pull this back and we can go to the network tab. Now I'm going to refresh. And it's already in here, but I can search for collect. So collect is part of the request URL that Google Analytics uses. And I can click on it here and come down, and we can see in the payload that there is an experiment viewed event. There's two of them, one for each of the experiments we're running, and that's has the ID, so the hero CTA button and the value prop card. And both of those then are being sent to with the right variations. So you can check this so we know that the experiments are being loaded and those events are being sent. All right, that's it. Let's recap what we just did. We set up GrowthBook with feature flags and experiments. We installed the GrowthBook Framer plugin. We created component level experiments. And most importantly, we discovered what actually drives clicks. What's next? So I want you to install the GrowthBook plugin, and I want you to test one element on your highest traffic page, run it for 2 weeks, and let data guide your design. Remember, you can build beautiful sites with Framer, but now you can know they actually convert. Stop guessing, start testing. Below, we have links for the GrowthBook Framer plugin. We have a full written tutorial. We have a link to our Slack community where you can come and ask questions. But importantly, I want to know, what are you going to test first? Drop it in the comment below. See you in the next one.